What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. I'm your host Morgan. Today I am doing a comparison test of a product I'm releasing to the wild. Not too long ago I was approached to design a 4-corner AMD AM4 mounting system for the Corsair Capellix style coolers. So I did not own one of these at the time. I found a good deal on a used one, picked it up. So I went ahead and grabbed that, and I've been working on my design for the brackets basically, and you could say, well, there goes one. I'll show these in a minute, but I've got quite a few revisions down before I got it right, but I'm happy to report that it works pretty good. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this right now. I've been testing the crap out of this cooler with the factory mount. I probably got 3-4 hours of benching whatever I could do, different methods of changing up the test to try and get that temperature to raise up. So I have yet to test my cooler. I'm going to do that here in this video with you guys. I'm going to dismount this one. I kind of wish I recorded the installation of the factory cooler with the the center post mounting system, because I was actually a little frustrated with it. So I was like, dang, I should have been recording this, because that's part of the reason why I would imagine most of us want a 4-post mounting system, 4-corner mounting system, just to even if we're not getting a performance improvement, we're going to get a lifestyle improvement by having to stress less over installing or even removing a CPU cooler. You know what I mean? We all know the days of trying to install one of these guys or even remove them. I actually always felt removing these with the little, whatever they call this mounting system, dual center mounting system that the AMD has been using since at least AM2 days. And when Ryzen came out, they moved to a 4-corner system, but that was a factory setup, and a lot of the aftermarket people didn't quite catch on yet. So let me show you what I got going on. Before we get there, actually, I'll be showing you guys some temps I got. The highest I was able to get this Ryzen 5 1600 up to was about 62 degrees, almost 63 degrees, in a 20-minute stress test using OCCT. I believe that was on a small, normal, variable SSE on with the threads on auto, and 20-minute run. I got it up to about 63 degrees, so or just under 60 degrees Celsius. I did the AVX2, I did the standard AVX, and I think there was, I did AVX2 in like, what's it, the extreme mode, and I just changed all kinds of variables, and the hottest setting I could get was the OCCT in the SSE setting with the small, normal, variable, and the threads on auto, and a 20-minute run. I might have been able to get a little more than 63 degrees, but my ambient temperatures here are fairly decent at I believe it was 21 degrees Celsius here, 66 degrees Fahrenheit for you people running on that scale. Anyways, enough rambling. Let me show you guys what I've got going on here. I'll show you the setup going. Oh, I also want to mention I will be swapping the video card from the RX 560 4GB that's in there, mainly because the fan is making a little bit of noise, and I want to do some I want to do some audio testing, acoustic testing on the pump, see if there's any vibrations and stuff. And if the GPU fan is, noisy enough, it could technically drown out any of the sounds I might be able to hear from the pump. I personally listened to the pump with the factory mounting system and didn't really hear anything funky. Some people have said they noticed some vibrations or whatever. Hopefully it's their mounting system and not the pump failing or whatever in any way. But yeah, anyways, let's get into this. Alright, well, if you look right here, you'll see the 62.76 degrees Celsius I had mentioned earlier. Currently it's at 34.51 degrees Celsius. Yeah, and then I guess the CPU TTB got up to 45 degrees Celsius, currently at 22.75. It might be a little bit cooler ambient temperature right now. Alright, let's check out my setup here. Obviously a monitor. There's my test rig case, whatever you want to call it. Is a Quartermaster test bench. You see right there, a little bit older unit. Well loved. I use this thing quite often, mainly for when I'm making new builds. I put all the components on here, test everything, make sure everything works, run through its paces a little bit. That way I'm not building it in a case, cramming it all in there, getting all the wiring just right, and then realizing, this motherboard's bad, or this power supply is bad, or whatever. I can do all that here. Technically, I'm not really testing the power supply in this, as can't really see in there, but there's I've got a 1,000-watt power supply in there. I should probably change that out and use that for like overclocking and stuff like that. I could probably get away with like a 650 watt, or I would say probably honestly a 750 watt in this thing would be more ideal, as it would just give me a bigger range of builds I can use in this thing. But like I said, it's mainly just for testing things out. It's not like I'm overclocking things in this or whatever. So I mean, sometimes depending on what build, I might do a light overclock in this. I prefer to overclock in the case that the computer is going to be in, so because the thermals are going to change. Anyways, as I said, I'm working with this Corsair IQ H115i Elite Capellix. It came with some Thermaltake fans, but I actually happen to have some 140mm Corsairs, so I just went ahead and threw those on there just to keep it all Corsair for now. But anyways, oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys the pump cap I designed and printed today, or I think I printed it yesterday or whatever, designed it the other day, the last couple of days. We got that going, and like I said, that's the factory mounting system. RX 560 pumping out the video there. And if anybody's wondering why, can you guys see why are there two DVD drives? One is SATA, one is PATA IDE for testing, building older stuff. I know I've been around a while, probably don't really need that, but I do mess around with vintage hardware. So anyways, I'll be throwing this GT710 in here because this video card is a little noisy. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that very well or not, but anyways, so here's the two pump cap cover things that Corsair provides, a black and a white. And then I printed a couple of AMD ones, and another TTB Studios, the white one, and this time I ran out of black, otherwise I would have done a black one. That's why you guys see this part here. This was supposed to be all black, is when I was still printing them upright. This is mainly when I was still doing tests. I wasn't really printing for production at that point. I'm still trying to get everything finalized and stuff. But then I made some changes and was able to start printing them sitting down like this. So it's like these couple are those pairs. But yeah, there's a couple tools I'm using for the install of these guys. Sorry about the camera work there. I've also got my decibel meter. So once I shut that down, I can get my floor, my decibel reading, my decibel floor reading, whatever you want to call it, whatever the heck the proper terminology for that is called. So yeah, that's what we got going on. I've got to remove this pump. I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna shut down the computer. I'm gonna remove this pump and remove those brackets, and I'm going to install, I have to go over here actually, this pair of white brackets here. They've been prepped, sanded them down to look pretty nice. I figured out another method of finishing these brackets, so I'll be doing that before I send all those out as well. But yeah, let's set up this camera so we can watch me fumble with this twin center mounting system, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, then we're gonna see if we can't get any improvements over this 62 degrees. Now honestly, I'm saying that we could, if we can beat, I wasn't able to get the over the 62 degrees but one run, so I'm going to say if we can beat 58 degrees, then I'll call it, you know, a success for a performance gain. But because I did see it get up to 61 and some change on one of the last runs, but it didn't break the record. That was on the first run of the SSE that I did earlier. Yeah, so anyways, here we go. I'm gonna shut this down. Alright, let's see what my sound floor, that's the proper terminology. So about 39.4. 39.5. Alright, so that's what we'll say the sound floor is. Let's see, I need to switch this off. Unplug. Now we can start unplugging components. That's the wrong thing. I like using this for doing testing and whatnot, so I don't have any extra noise coming from my car. I think it has a spot where you can add a fan. I think that's what that plug is for, but I'm not exactly sure, honestly. I'll have to pull this apart and check it out one of these days. But anyways, let's move on with the business here. And I've got this little rubber piece, or silicone technically. It was smashing under the video card to alleviate some of the stress on the slot there. So HDMI is plugged in. The beautiful thing about these passive cards, they don't need VGA either, so, or VGA power, so no VGA power. Gotta plug the power supply back in. Yeah, so lots been going on in my life lately, so I haven't been posting videos as much as I would prefer. Biggest thing is I've just got a lot of projects going on, and my studio here has been such a mess. I've been too embarrassed to do any filming, and I probably spent like 6 or 7 hours cleaning up this area enough just to be able to get the camera in here and do the filming what I'm doing today. So I'm actually really happy about that, you know, but I'm really bummed that I haven't been able to put out more content. I've got a lot of good ideas and a lot of stuff planned. Just you know how life is. You got to roll with it. All right, so this is ready to boot up. Let's power it on. Let's see if we can't get some. Oh, I forgot to change out the pump, but that's fine. I want to get a good, get a nice little reading with it running on with the new video card. Just get a sound test with it going. We're not so bad. About 4 decibels of noise added to the room with just the PC running here. Let's let me swap that cooler now. We'll need just out the rubbing alcohol. To reapply the thermal paste. The one handy thing about this mount is you can usually do it without any tools. I'm going to remove the video card just so I have a little extra room to fiddle with. I'll install that obviously when it's time to go, time to work on it again. And I'm just going to pop those out. Do that, pop these back in. Alright, so that's out of the way. I'm going to move that video card, since I believe I'll be setting this cooler up here once I pull this off, or maybe I'll be setting that up there. Something's going on top of that box. Okay. And I have to loosen it enough to, there we go. One. Okay, There we go, got that. And I always like to twist my coolers before I remove them. Obviously need to unplug the tack cable, whatever you want to call that. PWM signal wire, I believe that's what that is for. Okay, so clean that off in a moment. Actually, let's clean them both off real quick. Woo. I'm going to design a 3D print a little stand to hold that up in case I ever need to use it on my bench here. Maybe I can do a universal one that'll fit more than one stand or more than one radiator. I've got quite a few AIOs. Got that off pretty well. Let's try and get some more of this off here. Probably should get a slightly bigger paper towel. Now, as I mentioned, I bought this CPU cooler used. And apparently, one of the previous owners, I'm not sure how many owned it before me, at least one other, but someone used liquid metal on this. I don't know if they were doing direct die cooling with this. You would think somebody doing direct die would be doing, custom loop or, maybe doing extreme cooling or whatever. But so I cleaned it off as best as I could. I took some steel wool to it after cleaning it with some rubbing alcohol earlier and whatnot. I might eventually sand it down. It could use some polishing anyways, some lapping and stuff. It's fairly smooth. Just make sure you put a decent layer of thermal paste and it should work just fine. I haven't seen any problems with using it. Oh crap, one of those thumb screws, thumb nuts actually came out. It's fine. Need to pull those off anyways. Alright, there's that one. Now if I had a water jet at my access, or if I had my mini mill up and running, I would have opted to make the brackets out of sheets of metal instead of 3D printed plastic. Okay, so that's basically just ready for installing the brackets here. So let's do that. It's pretty straightforward. The short side here goes where the inlet and outlets are. Just need to line up the grooves with the slot and push it in, flip it over and cinch in the sides, and then repeat for the other side. As you can see, they're pretty robust and they grip pretty well. The main reason why I'm showing with the white one, I think I I don't think I have a completed black one with all the updated changes, but 2, the white has a better contrast up against the pump block, so you can really, you know, see how it fits and stuff like that. I figured that would be really good to show in the video here. But anyways, now let's get ready to install it. You can see it's just got, you know, 4-corner post. It's got some room so you can adjust it either way. I'm going to work on making a Ryzen 3000, Ryzen 5000 series clips. Like, not saying that this one won't work for those, but I'm talking about ones where you can adjust the position, you know, and move the center of the block over your chiplet, you know, to help with the cooling or whatever, for getting those extreme overclocks or whatever you're doing. Dang, wire. Okay, so cool thing about my design is it uses the factory hardware here. Okay, so we're just going to remove these screws and set them there for now. And we just set these aside. We'll save those if you ever need them, if you ever decide to change the cooler, sell your motherboard or whatever. It's handy to have those. Alright, so we don't need those for now. And if you're wondering, how does my backplate stay in place? I'll show you a trick another day. Basically, I just got some gaffer's tape on the back. So anyways, the backplate's not going to fall out because of the gaffer's tape there. And now we grab my cooler and the pump block with my brackets. Oh wait, what am I doing? Can't just do that. I mean, we could, but it would show a lot worse performance than the other bracket. Just a little dab is all you really need. We're using Arctic MX4. This is my basic go-to. So now I like to spread my paste. I'm going to add a little bit more. I think it's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit drier than what I normally put on there. But I'm talking just a tiny fraction. Like I said, not much. It's probably even a little more than I really need. But a little more is better than not enough, as if you get the tension right, some of it will squeeze out. And also, when you're using a spreader, you can really fine-tune the thickness, get it just right. Now, I wish I had my commercial spreader, but I made this out of one of those coupon cards from like one of those places that wants to sell you meals or food for meals or something like that. Whatever it was. But yeah, so alright, we got a good spread. Anything left over here, I take and I just spread in the middle best I can. Most of it's gone. That's good. So now we can place the pump. I'm going to at least grab 2 of these. Put them in opposite corners. That way it's easier mounting. I'm not fumbling it around. There's that one started. Ooh, slightly magnetic. Alright, I'm just going to snug those a little bit. Try to get these other 2 going. I'll twist the cooler just a tad. Press down on it. Yeah, we have to make sure they're loose enough. Otherwise it's not going to move much. We don't need it to move all that much, but we want to get a good squeeze. And there's a little bit of play in here. You can, adjust it accordingly. I would say there's probably a good 3 millimeters of play back and forth. Now you don't need to crank down super crazy on these things. I got the dimensions pretty close to where they needed to be. You will want enough pressure that the mounting tabs will flex some when mounting, but you can see it's pretty dang secure on there. Okay, so I'm just going to go do a quick check. Alright, so that's good. Now I'm going to plug this back in. There, get that. That should all still be plugged. Power and reset are there. Make sure the fan is clear. Okay, no problems there. Just plug it back in. Turn the switch. And turn it on. Actually, it's not going to fully boot. Well, I mean, it'll boot to Windows, but we won't see anything because I jumped the gun there. Now, off. Alright, let's install the video card. Where's that piece of silicone? Into a little there. Right, so there. Okay. Now, let's boot it up. It's not bad with just the mic with the meter right on top of the pump here. So almost no vibration. felt quite a bit before on the other system using these guys. What I did earlier, a trick you can do to test what mechanics do, is they'll take usually they'll take a socket extension tool and use that to transmit the vibrations. I'm just going to use this. It's got a solid rod. This thing's pretty solid. I'll set this here, and I'll set this part on my ear. Much less vibration than before. Literally, it's only the motor in there right here, not any other vibrations anywhere else. So I'm really impressed with that. I'm gonna give that another listen. Man, that's a sweet sound. A sweet, just the little whine of the pump. You can't hear it. Like, let's see if I can. Well, what happened? Oh. Unless they're trying to update or something. Yeah, so I'm really impressed with that already. Anyways, let's get this thing ready for testing here. So you can't really see what the heck I'm doing right now. Basically, I'm just opening up the CPU-Z, the hardware info, and OCCT. Alright, so you can see the current temperatures right here on the left, and the minimum temperatures in the middle, and our max on the right. The current max for the T die is 29.38. The current max for the CPU die, average they're saying, is 38.3. Let's see if we can't get a max of 58 degrees. That's what we're shooting for. We're gonna hit play. Because I don't have a paid version, it's asking me to support them and whatnot with a donation, which I don't have at this time. Maybe another day. Okay, and let's see where we go. I'll be back in a few. Ooh, just looking at that, I'm not sure if I'll be able to beat the 58 degree mark. It's already up at 53 and change after a minute and a half. We'll see what happens. Man, it's really cutting it close here. But I think I've got a winner. I mean, that's a good, solid, I don't know, close to 3 degrees cooler. Ten seconds left. It's getting close. But either way, it didn't like creep up too far. Yeah, under 80 degrees. Oh, sorry, under 58 degrees. So I would say that is a success as far as a performance gain with my bracket versus theirs. Let's get you guys full deal here. So you can see 20 minutes is up. $57.93 degrees. So quite a good improvement. Alright, so as you can see from the final results there, I beat my my goal, I guess you could say, as where I said if I could beat 58 degrees or less, then I would consider my bracket a success as far as a performance gain compared to the factory Corsair / factory AMD dual center mounting system, whatever the heck, whatever they call that. I'm not exactly sure, but my four corner system beat out the max of the other one by, like I said, it was like what, 62.76. I got 57.93. It came a little close to topping that 58, but even still, that's a good 3 degrees cooler than the average temperature when I ran the SSE on the other mounting system. Also, the T-die was 5 degrees cooler on the max side, so from 45 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius. It's a big improvement there. Yeah, OCCT ran 20 minutes on the SSE test. We hammered it for a while. 58 degrees. I say that's really good. And on top of that, like I said, there's a lot less vibration that I've noticed, because like I said, I did the 1 ear test before and after switching. Even just feeling it just feels a lot less vibrations. You know what I mean? It's getting all 4 corners being snugged down. So thanks for hanging with me through this kind of long video. And I was rambling on there for a minute, but I really had to get my thoughts out on this, this process and stuff like that. Oh, and like I said, I was going to show you guys all those brackets real quick. I don't know if I showed how many I went through. I went through quite a few revisions and whatnot, so I'm going to post those up real fast here. Yeah, so basically all the ones without the tabs was an individual revision. Right, so at least 5 revisions before I got the clip-on mechanism right to the block, and then after that I just had to fine-tune the mounting tabs and stuff like that. Anyways, so that's my latest creation, and I plan on working on some offset brackets for overclocking your 5000 and I guess some of the 3000 series chiplet design CPUs. Plus I got these nifty pump caps that I custom modeled, I guess you could say. Corsair was kind enough to supply the 3D model from their website. It was not in a format that I could readily use, but I used an online converter to convert it from, I don't even know what it was, but I needed an STL format or SketchUp format because that's what I design in. But STL usually works, although if it's a really complex model, SketchUp just can't hang. So thankfully these are really simple models. It's just a beveled, was that octagon cap, you know. I modeled these with AMD design. We can do them with NVIDIA design, your custom logo, kind of how I did mine. There's quite a few of these we can do. I mean, I'm probably gonna get a little crazy and do some other funky stuff, you know. Maybe I'll put a spinner on one of these or something like that, you know. I mean, it's been a while since you've seen a spinner. You ever seen a spinner on a PC? Alright, well, I gotta get this thing to editing, and it's already like 4 a.m. or something like that. Been up all night, been testing all day, cleaning up and stuff like that, getting all this ready. I run slow, but I get things done. Just a matter of time. Thanks again for hanging with me, and I'll see you in the next one.